to Gamer Dad Does Comics. Today we are talking about Batman vs. Fortnite Issue 1. Batman vs. Fortnite is about two things, one of which I know quite a bit about, which is Batman. The other thing is Fortnite. Fortnite is a comic, apparently, that is based off of a video game where you shoot people and also build forts. Most of what I know about Fortnite comes from little Danny, who says, "Why are you building forts? You are going night-night." And he makes a powerful point. Why are we building forts? I don't know. I think that the goal is to shoot people. I guess that's for cover. I really don't know. Anyway, the thing picks up immediately with Batman talking to Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Gordon, of course, is the guy that you might be familiar with from the movies. He's played by Gary Oldman in the movies. Back in the old days, he was this doddering old guy. Then over the years, they've made him into more of a tough, hard-boiled detective guy that also hangs around with Batman on rooftops. And he's concerned because there is a glowing line in the sky, and it is tearing at reality itself. Now, he's smoking a pipe, so he's relatively calm about this. He doesn't seem like, if something is tearing at reality, and I can just tell by looking at it, I'm thinking that's the moment where I call somebody for assistance. But Batman, no. He is not concerned at all. People are mostly running away from it, despite the fact it seems to be in the sky, so I'm not sure how they're running away from it. I mean, it seems as though you'd be fine. But there are people who are running into it. Again, apparently climbing on rooftops in Gotham City. And you could see where Batman would be the go-to guy for that one. So Batman's, he starts hopping around and whatnot, and he sees Harley Quinn. And Harley is just hanging out, but she's upset because someone already went through. Ooh, who could it be? We don't know. She said she could not join them because she had to go pick up hyena poop. Now, it's unclear how long it is that Harley was busy doing this hyena poop situation. Was she doing it immediately before and then someone hopped in? If it was back at her apartment, because we know she has two hyenas back at her apartment, is she like going home and then coming back and the person just hopped in, so did they catch just the end? Who is this other person? Why is she using pronouns? It doesn't matter. Batman yells at her to get out of the way. He says, "What are you doing, Harley?" And she feels he's mansplaining. It's a crack in reality. I think that is not a mansplaining type situation, but Harley's a psychologist, so who am I to judge her? She immediately starts firing a gun at him. Now keep in mind, right now in the comics, here's where we're at. Harley is basically broken up with the Joker, and she is thinking like, hey, I want to be like Batman's sidekick, even another Robin type situation. It seems very weird that she would be firing a gun at him. That seems more in line with old portrayals of Harley, like maybe 10, 15 years ago. But instead, we got this new paradigm. So if you're like me, you're going like, okay, so when's this supposed to be set? Well, I figure it's probably supposed to be set a while back. But later on, you're going to see there's some stuff that makes it super contemporary. She doesn't, he asks her what's going on. She's swinging baseball bats at him, whatnot. He's trying to interrogate her. Then she says, "I'm no snitch." So she gives him a knee lift to the face, and then she jumps into the crack in the sky. I don't know if she caused this. I don't know what's happening at all. Apparently this is a Fortnite thing. I asked my son, I asked Gamer Son about this, and he said, yeah. So that's all you need. So Batman then begins to take readings of the crack. Keep in mind, Batman is one of the best detectives on the planet. That's important because we're going to come back to that. He is one of the smartest men on the planet, one of the best detectives on the planet. And he decides he's going to take some readings. He doesn't call Mr. Terrific. He doesn't call any of the mini scientific organizations he's worked with in the past. No, he's just like, I'm just going to take some readings here, but someone kicks him into it. Now, that means somebody snuck up on Batman on a rooftop. Unlikely. I understand there's a certain suspension of disbelief that you have to have with a comic that has a man dressed like a bat in it. But if you're telling me that someone could sneak up on Batman, I don't know if I can do that. Anyway, so he blacks out and he wakes up, he's in the mountains or something, and there's a storm moving in. And apparently this also is a Fortnite thing. Footnote, I used to think it was called Fork Knife. It's not. It's Fortnite, I guess because you build forts. And it's at daytime though, so it really should be Fort Day. But the guy, suddenly some man attacks him. And the guy has a gas mask and blue hair and some sort of scythe. I don't know what's happening at all in this situation. And it's not helping. Batman tries to communicate with him, but he cannot. Because he can no longer speak. Now, I'm not sure if this is like making some sort of commentary about Fortnite, about how you can't really be represented in it. Like you can't really chat with other players. You're limited to emotes, so Batman immediately grasps this, greatest detective, and says, okay, I'm going to use sign language. But the sign language, he starts to say, I am. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't even know he's Batman. But he knows all of his skills, because he's still, like, good at punching and whatnot. So Batman goes into this weird Descartesian-type dialogue with himself in the little speech bubbles, or not speech bubbles, the little narration boxes, where he's like, I do not know who I am. I appear to be a trained fighter. Maybe this man is also a trained fighter since he's keeping up with me. Maybe we're in a prison. Now, I got problems again. Batman has been trained by martial artists all over the world. Why is this guy keeping up with Batman? Mr. Blue Hair Gas Mask Man. Is there lore in Fortnite I should know? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But Batman says, well, maybe we're in a prison? I don't think that's a logical assumption because you're outside. But okay, world's greatest detective. I'm not going to criticize Batman. All of a sudden, there's a sniper scope. Batman notices it. He's like, uh-oh. And then there's a bunch of people in front of him. There is no sense in the art of what is happening. All of a sudden, we are just in this. There's a bunch of people fighting. There is a man who is a tomato man. So, that's a thing. I think I remember a meme on the line that was something about a tomato man or tomato town. So perhaps this man is the mayor of Tomato Town. And Catwoman's there. Now, Catwoman is somebody that Batman feels that he knows. He's beginning to wonder, he's beginning to question his own sanity, but he feels as though he knows Catwoman. And she appears, and she helps him. And he doesn't really know why. He's just like, I feel a bond with this person. Now, here's the timeout. Batman and Catwoman almost got married a couple of years ago. You might have seen something, because it actually made it to the news. Long story short, Batman's been involved with Catwoman for a long time. On again, off again. Dates and whatnot. And more than dates, but this is a family show. So, Batman all of a sudden proposed to her. Then, Catwoman was like, okay, let's get married. So they spent like a year like going and meeting all his exes. And like he went and met Talia out in the desert and with the League of Assassins and whatnot. And he went on a double date with Clark and Lois. It was kind of cute and kind of fun. It's not really my cup of tea for my Batman, but okay, it was interesting and different. Then, on the day of the wedding, Catwoman's friend, Harley, and I won't get into that because that's, okay, I will. Basically, she's been around since the Frank Miller Batman reboot, back Batman Year One, back in Batman 404, I believe. Anyway, so she's been around for a while, and she says, I just don't know if you should marry Batman because I think it would ruin the whole concept of Batman. And Catwoman decides that she cannot marry Batman because it would ruin Batman. But it turned out there was a big plot by Bane because Bane had recently gotten beat by Batman. Bro. So Batman had recently defeated Bane. Bane has been a big problem for Batman, as you can imagine. Luchadors who are hopped up on venom drugs. That's a big problem for the Dark Knight. But Bane had manipulated Harley to manipulate Catwoman to manipulate Batman by making them break off their marriage, because that would break him. Because Bane, when he was first introduced, he broke the Bat's back, you know. Now he's breaking the Bat's heart. And that's a big problem. Anyway, Batman is like, all right. So he's working together with Catwoman. And meanwhile, in real life, he's got an awkward real comics continuity. He's got an awkward relationship with Catwoman because of the whole broken off thing with their relationship. It's like they want to be allies, but she was like a crime boss for a while. It gets complicated. Anyway, he wonders what their relationship is whilst he's fighting this tomato. And he's like, are we lovers? Like, wait, what? Settle down, Fortnite. Then, there's a polar bear with a helmet. I don't really understand much about Fortnite. I thought it was just people running around shooting each other. There's also animals and vegetables and fruits, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, the storm is approaching. Batman and Catwoman decide they gotta end the fight right now because of this storm, which appears to be like this violet hue. And before we're done, next thing you know, they look at each other and they're going to die. And that's the end of the first issue. Now, I'm reading this because I'm trying to understand what the young people are into. And I know that they like bottle flipping and they like Fortnite. Or at least they did a couple of years ago. I don't know so much anymore. They do the little dances too. Like this one where they're, whatever. So I'm trying to understand this. But if I was just reading this comic for the first time and I had no background in Fortnite, I would not stick with it. But me, I'm a reporter. So I'll be back next week. We'll talk more about Batman versus Fortnite. And like and subscribe or whatever it is the kids do.